Coming to you live from a very hot rental car in Pietermaritzburg, an insight into what Judge Piet Koen's ruling this morning means for the future trial for corruption of former President Jacob Zuma and French arms company Thales. Essentially, Koen dismissed half a dozen different applications, including an application for leave to appeal, brought by Zuma in relation to the legitimacy of his corruption prosecution by the state. Among other things, Jacob Zuma sought to appeal Koen's dismissal of his application for a special plea in which he sought the removal of prosecutor Billy Downer on the basis that he lacked the impartiality required to prosecute him. Koen found that, in terms of the law, Jacob Zuma's attack on the title of prosecutor had already been an issue that had been decided by the Supreme Court conclusively, and that he had to maintain the rulings that had been given by the courts, but also agreeing substantively with the state prosecutor Billy Downer that it was not appropriate for Zuma to be given the right to prosecute or to seek to appeal aspects of his prosecution now, rather saying that he should do so at the end of his trial if and when he was convicted. Now, that decision may have very far-reaching implications for Jacob Zuma in terms of his continued legal campaign to challenge every aspect of the case against him in an apparent effort, the state says, to actually avoid his trial. Jacob Zuma's foundation saying very strongly that he was very, very likely to appeal the ruling, which spokesperson Mzwanele Manyi described as a quote-unquote travesty of justice, despite the fact that at that stage, minutes after the judgment was delivered, there was no way he could have actually read it. Also significantly, Koen dismissing Jacob Zuma's application to lead further evidence in this regard, finding that, in the way that he'd bought it, Jacob Zuma had not shown any substantive prejudice in terms of him not leading witnesses from the state in terms of the abuses that he claims he has suffered. Now, what's important to remember is that, as in his special plea judgment, Koen has emphasized throughout that Zuma still has the ability to raise fair trial abuses when and if he goes on trial. And Koen's making it clear that as a consequence of the decisions that he's made in regard to all 6 of these applications, that trial should proceed in April this year. It's really now up to Jacob Zuma to see if that happens or not.